Hello, friends. Leslie here, and today I'm bringing you the Beginner's Guide to Connection. I want to talk to you about courageous connection. We live in a lonely, isolated world that seems to become more fragmented and disconnected by the day. Committing to creating courageous connections will shift your focus and give you a satisfaction at a soul level. There are a lot of things that I've never been good at. I never moved past drawing stick figures in art class. But one thing that I've just always been really good at is connecting with people. A fun fact, at one point I felt so confident after college in my connection skills that my friend and I wrote a guide to flirting. But that's another story for another day. First, we're going to talk about how people choose connection or a disconnection to feel safe in relationships. Second, we'll discuss 2 times in life that people feel most disconnected and give some really clear strategies for creating courageous connection in both seasons. And third, we'll discuss, as we approach the holiday season, how to give others the gift of being seen and heard and known through courageous connections by giving you some flash connection tips. So first, in each relationship, we choose to connect or disconnect to feel safe. Let's use the example of sitting at a table. There are some tables I sit at where I wish I had 10 hours with each person to really get to know them. There are other tables that I sit at where I'd rather be scrolling on my phone to feel safe and disconnected. Let's give some examples. We choose to share our thoughts or feelings, connect, or we choose to withhold our feelings, disconnect, to feel safe. We choose to lean into relationship during potential conflict, connect, or we lean away from relationship, disconnect, to feel safe. We choose to be curious and create solutions, connect, or be closed and committed to being offended, disconnect, to feel safe. Learning to lean into relationships during hard times was really hard for me and scary. Building walls around my heart or running away from connection by eating or drinking or scrolling social media, that was easier. I was hurt and I'd numb it. I was offended and I would numb it in the holy name of forgiveness, which was really less forgiveness and more avoidance. When my husband and I got to a point where we needed to reconstruct our marriage, I knew I needed to take responsibility for my part of the dysfunction. And that meant actually telling myself the truth about feeling the feelings that felt uncomfortable, feeling the not so polite anger or sadness or brokenness, and actually sharing that truth with Trey. It was hard, really hard, but it allowed for a transformation in our relationship that has been hard fought and well worth fighting for. Choosing connection to feel safe is hard work. I have some great resources listed on my website that have helped me in this pursuit if you need more on that. So what's your tendency? When you consider your relationships, each one, the ones that you spend the majority of your time in, do you disconnect to feel safe or connect? Second, there were 2 seasons in my life where I had to deliberately choose courageous connection with others. During a really dark, challenging season of my life, I remember driving into my neighborhood. My eyes were so internally focused that I couldn't see outside of myself. I remember during that drive into my neighborhood, I asked God, show me people who need a word of encouragement. They need courage to be breathed into them. Show me somebody who needs life given to them. Show me somebody who needs to know that they're seen by you. I remember as I prayed that prayer, it was like names were dropped on my heart and pictures of faces started going into my head. I pulled into my driveway. I told the kids to go inside. The baby was sleeping in the back, and I pushed the microphone button and I just started sending voice recorded messages to people. Hey, you were on my mind today, and I was thinking about how much joy you bring to every environment you're in. I shared memories with some of them. I told them what I appreciated about them. And it was amazing because I would ask them this question. I would say, you were on my heart today. Please tell me why you were on my heart. How can I pray for you? The answers created immediate, courageous connection. The truth is that the simple act of turning my eyes outward and asking God to help me focus somewhere other than my own pain brought connections from my past into my present and carried my present relationships into the future. And if this is you, if life feels really heavy and dark, could you ask God to show you one person who needs courage in their life, one person who needs life spoken to their hearts, or who needs your prayers? This will take courage. It will be hard. And having your eyes turned in is like an anchor that doesn't allow you to live that light and easy and free life. But as you reach out to someone else and help to bear their burdens with them, you're going to feel that anchor loosen, and you'll feel your soul starts to become anchored to courage and hope and life. The other season of my life where I felt alone and disconnected was when I was really, really busy with surface level connections. I was a volunteer in my church and my community. I was growing a large business with many, many people I interacted with. I was very connected on social media. And of course, I had 6 daughters. People felt like they knew me. They felt like they were connected to me, but I was lonely and I felt disconnected. And it took me a season of burnout to teach me to slow down, find silence, rest, and become aware of emotions and thoughts and fears and tears that I had just shoved in and pressed down inside of me. And it took a lot of work with a great therapist and a lot of tears and silence, where God shone a floodlight on my heart and made me very aware of who I really was and who I was made to be. And then another coach challenged me to make a short list of people who I could be with, who I could share the real me with, who I could rest with. And he challenged me to make some new friends. So I literally called a couple of women who I had never met, who I had heard I would like, who I had heard I would be encouraged by and would love, and I invited them to lunch. It was like asking someone on a blind date. I felt so nervous. And if this is you, if your life is full of surface level friendships, would you let me challenge you to schedule time to rest and schedule time to feel? And some of you are going to have to ask God to shine that floodlight on your heart. There's a verse in Psalm 139, 23 through 24, and I love the Passion Translation. It says something, it says this, which I'd ask you to pray. God, I invite your searching gaze into my heart. Examine me through and through. Find out everything that may be hidden within me. Put me to the test. Sift through my anxious cares. See if there's a path of pain I'm walking on. And lead me back to your glorious, everlasting ways, the path that brings me back to you. And then make a list of people who are safe. Safe enough for you to reveal your real self to. And schedule coffee with one person each week for the next 4 weeks. I need to pause here and say that that last assignment, some of you are like, girl, I don't even have friends that I want to hang out with. When I'm with them, I feel like I have to work to prove myself and defend my life. And when I leave, I'm drained and exhausted. May I suggest that you just courageously search out those new friendships? You might have to try a new gym or play group. Find a church with people with a common interest in small groups. Find positive people who will cheer each other on. This life is too short to spend with toxic people. So, whether you bend one way or another, I know that creating connection in a world that's so disconnected is really hard and can be intimidating. The last thing is, if you want to be connected, you have to act. Here are some quick tips to get you connected in this next season. 1, be wildly interested in others. I saw this picture one day of two islands. One island was tropical with palm trees and sandy beaches and a thatched roof hut. That would be my island. The other island was this cozy island with stony walled cabin and pine trees and grass and rocky shores. The islands were connected with this wooden bridge. Here's the thing, we naturally assume that everyone else's life is just like our island, but they're vastly different. Each friend lives on a different island. And the goal of connection is to cross the bridge to their island and find out what life is like on their island. How do you do this? Be wildly interested in them. Ask them good questions. What have you learned this year? Well, what are you passionate about? Stop talking about the weather and about politics and stop talking about the recipe you made for dinner. What is going on inside their mind and inside their hearts? What makes their marriage work? What do they want more of in life? Discover what life is like on their island. 2, celebrate people and compliment them. And genuinely identify things in them that other people aren't identifying. Speak life into areas where you see them thriving in. Tell them how they inspire you, how they motivate you, how you feel when you're with them. I want to be remembered at the end of my life as somebody who saw amazing things in people and didn't just see them, but called them out. So often we see good things in people, and then we're so self-absorbed that we become jealous or compare ourselves to them, and then that creates disconnection. Or we observe good in others and we just leave it unsaid. Get in the habit of reaching out as soon as good thoughts pop in your head and tell that person the good and watch your connections grow and deepen. 3, invite people into your real life. As a mom of 6, a business owner, a serial volunteer, I learned I didn't have a huge amount of time to spend with people, but I could invite them into my real life. And by real life, I go on walks. And many of my friends have been invited on walks. In my real life, I drink coffee. Many have been invited to have a cup of coffee while our kids run around. I've invited friends to go grocery shopping with me. I actually invited a friend the other day to go get a mammogram with me. I mean, nothing is sacred. Invite people along on this journey with you. It doesn't have to be a sit-down dinner that's 3 hours long. It can literally just be doing life alongside each other. So many of us are not connecting because we think we don't have time or space or the personality or home or whatever. These things are not requirements for connection. 2 closing thoughts. First, cultivating connection with others is mutually beneficial. Yeah, it serves you. But more importantly, it impacts others too. If you're not courageous enough to create connections for yourself, would you be willing to create courageous connections for the benefit of others? There's no greater gift you can give your friends and family than to make them feel seen and heard and known through connection. Second, there's a part of connection where you have to let go of what you expected the other person to be. If you knew me during college, you would have known this boisterous, outgoing, carefree girl who loved to rally people around her, to have fun, to win spirit sticks at pep rallies, to make unforgettable memories involving legal and normal activities like scavenger hunts in Walmart. And if you knew me in college and we just reconnected today, you may have to let go of what you expect me to be. The truth is, I've walked through a lot of life since then. I'm changing and healing. And because of that, I'm different. I am different. I've lost friends and relationships because I've changed, but that's a whole nother topic. So approach people with grace and love and a constant mindset of discovery and curiosity and a desire to find out who they are now. My friends, the world is a very lonely and disconnected place right now. I want to challenge you to go and create some courageous connections. Take a risk, have courage, be connected. Life will radically change when you're no longer doing life alone.